Hey guys, welcome again back to my YouTube channel. I am Ridhima Kaushal. So today's topic is going to be again very helpful, knowledgeable and interesting. So if are new to my channel, please subscribe, like and share it. So without wasting our time, let's quickly go back to our topic and start it. So today's topic is totally related to our daily life and that is friction. जिसे हम हिंदी में घर्षण कहते हैं. In Hindi, we told it as घर्षण. We see it as gharshan. To know about friction more nicely, here is a small imagination. You might have seen a ball, right? And when it rolls on a ground, and a point comes when time comes when it stops at a point. Okay. So now if it wants, it can cover more distance, but no, it has stopped. Slowly, it has stopped at a point. But why does it happen? Now here, a ball has stopped because of friction force. बॉल इसलिए स्टॉप हो रहा है क्योंकि वहां पे फ्रिक्शन फोर्स या फिर फ्रिक्शन उसके मूवमेंट इट इज एक्टिंग अगेंस्ट द मूवमेंट उसके मूवमेंट पे एक्ट कर रहे हैं एंड इट इज एक्टिंग अगेंस्ट द मूवमेंट ऑफ द बॉल ओके व्हेन इट इज इन कॉन्टैक्ट विद द ग्राउंड सो व्हाई डज इट हैपन द बॉल व्हाई इट स्टॉप्स एट अ पॉइंट बिकॉज फ्रिक्शन फोर्स और फ्रिक्शन इज एक्टिंग अगेंस्ट द मूवमेंट ऑफ द बॉल. सो हमारी जो फ्रिक्शन है या फिर हमारी जो घर्षण है ये हमारी बॉल के अगेंस्ट एक्ट कर रहे हैं और हमारे जो बॉल है उसे रोक दे रहे हैं एट अ पॉइंट. सो ये हमारी क्या हो गई पूरी फ्रिक्शन. सो अब हमारी आती है टू फैक्टर्स ऑफ फ्रिक्शन. हमारी टू फैक्टर्स होते हैं जो हमारी फ्रिक्शन को अफेक्ट करते हैं. सो नाउ वी विल लर्न अबाउट दैट. नाउ इट कम्स फैक्टर अफेक्टिंग फ्रिक्शन. सो देयर आर मेनली टू फैक्टर्स दैट अफेक्ट फ्रिक्शन. So the number one is the nature of the surface on contact and the number second is the weight of the object moving on the surface. So first we will come in the number first which is the nature of the surface on contact. Then in the second we will learn about the second one factor which is the weight of the object moving on the surface. So in this first factor what it comes is the nature of the surface on contact. Over here what happens, any surface, anyone, even a smoother one, has tiny irregularities in them. Okay, they are having tiny irregularities in them and which in the form of grooves and ridges, right? So they are in the form of grooves and ridges. So we can see that irregularities just by magnifying, not a magnifying, a powerful magnifying glass or a microscope. Now they are so small that we need an instrument to see them, right? So when one surface moves on the other, जब एक सरफेस दूसरे सरफेस के ऊपर मूव करते हैं, so the tiny irregularities, as we know सबके all the objects are having tiny irregularities, so the both one surface and the other surface gets stuck between them. वो लोग चिपक जाते हैं धीरे धीरे. irregularities ऐसे करके मूव करते हैं, so they stuck between them and they are acting against the movement. As we have learned before that imagination of the ball, they act against the movement of that object. So finally वो एक point में जाके stop हो जाते हैं, right? And covering some distance it finally stops at a point. So अब हमारी आती है main point. इन सभी बातों को समझने के बाद हमारी main point यहाँ पे आती है. Therefore a rough surface offers a greater friction than a smooth surface. एक rough surface के पास ज़्यादा friction है as compared to the smoother ones, because rough surface के पास ज़्यादा tiny irregularities है. We can see from our naked eyes, अपने normal eyes से देख सकते हैं उस irregularities जो हमारी रफ सरफेस में. स्मूथ के लिए तो हमें एक पावरफुल मैग्नीफाइंग ग्लास और माइक्रोस्कोप को भी इंस्ट्रूमेंट चाहिए देखने के लिए, लेकिन रफ वाले को तो हम देख सकते हैं अपने नेकेड आईज से फ्रॉम आवर नॉर्मल आईज. So here a rough surface, when an object moves on a rough surface, it stops very fastly. So when an object moves on a rough surface, it stops very fastly as compared to the smoother ones. When an object moves on a smooth surface, it takes more distance, some distance more than the rough one, and then stops a point. So to know about how does it happen, we can take a small activity. It's very small. You can do at your home. So and you can just see my video and imagine it. Okay. So over here before starting my activity, I'm having a note over here. Some substances offer more friction in general than others. ऐसे बहुत सारे सब्सटेंसेस हैं जो ज़्यादा फ्रिक्शन ऑफर करते हैं एज कम्पेयर टू दी अदर्स. जस्ट लाइक एक रबर की ऑब्जेक्ट एक स्टील के ऑब्जेक्ट एज कम्पेयर टू द स्टील वंस ज़्यादा ऑफर करेंगे फ्रिक्शन, और ज़्यादा हमारी जो सरफेस है उसे ज़्यादा चिपक के स्टक हो जाएंगे as compared to the steel ones. So this is the main point, you can note it down. So here comes the activity. We have to show how the friction depends on the nature of the surface on contact. So over here, what are the materials required? So you have to take 2 or 3 books, or you can you have to take at least 3 books, a ball, a chalk, a ruler, carpet or a mat, anything, carpet or a mat. So now what you have to do in the first method is you have to lean a book against one of two. As you can see in the figure, you have to lean it. You can understand how you have to lean. Now you have to create a slope. As in the figure, a slope is created. You have to create a slope on the floor. एक floor पे आपको एक slope की तरह बनाना है. Okay, एक floor पे you have to do that slope in a floor, right? I think you can understand till here method 1. What you have to do is, so I hope till here you have understand till method 1 what you have to do is, you have to take these required materials. You have to lean 3 books against each other as you can see in the figure to create a slope, and note here you have to do that whole work in a smooth floor. Okay, now release the ball. You have to release the ball from the top of the slope. Now as you have made a slope, you have to release from the top of the slope. You have to release the ball from the top of the slope. And now you have to mark it. What you have to mark? How far the ball rolls and go. How much distance does it covers? उसको आपको एक चौक के मदद से मार्क कर देना है. And now you will measure the distance. Now you measure the distance, how much it covers. Now you have to repeat the experiment on a rougher surface such as the carpet or mat. Carpet or mat, you have to repeat what you did in the previous method. I have to do the same on the carpet or mat, and then you measure the distance. Now then you mark the distance after doing all the repeated experiment. So what do we observe and what do you conclude? What do we observe here till here is the ball moves farther on the floor. बॉल हमारी ज़्यादा डिस्टेंस दूर जाती है, ज़्यादा डिस्टेंस कवर करते हैं हमारे फ्लोर पे, बहुत दूर जाती है. लेकिन हमारे जो कारपेट है उस पर ज़्यादा डिस्टेंस कवर नहीं करते हैं, थोड़ी ही दूर जाती है और फिर वो रुक जाते हैं एज कम्पेयर टू द फ्लोर. फ्लोर ज़्यादा दूर जाती है और कारपेट हमारी थोड़ी ही डिस्टेंस कवर करते हैं और फिर वो रुक जाती है. The carpet is rougher. If you will touch the carpet, it is rougher and it offers greater friction. As rougher surface offers greater friction, so carpet is also a rougher surface, and over here it offers a greater friction. Therefore, slowing down the ball much faster than the flow. Therefore, वो ज़्यादा जल्दी स्लो कर जाते हैं, बॉल ज़्यादा जल्दी स्लो करते हैं as compared to the flow. Flow में वो सारा डिस्टेंस कवर कर रहे हैं. So now, what do we conclude from this activity is, so smooth surfaces offer less friction than rough surfaces. Smooth surfaces is having less friction. Smooth surface के पास less friction होते हैं, लेकिन हमारी जो rough friction है, rough हमारी surfaces हैं, उसके पास ज़्यादा friction होते हैं. So rough surface is having more friction as compared to the smooth one, and smooth one is having less friction as compared to the rough one. So this line only we have to keep in mind in this whole factor affecting of friction. First one, factor affecting of friction. Now we will come in the second one. So now it comes our second factor affecting friction is the weight of the moving object on the surface. Now here what happens, the greater is the weight of the surface on the surface. The greater is the weight of the object on the surface. If एक कोई weight है वो ज़्यादा है, it's very greater. एक ऑब्जेक्ट की वेट बहुत ज़्यादा है और वो सरफेस पे है. सो ओवर हेयर हम एक बॉक्स ही देखते हैं. एक बॉक्स है और वो हमारे फ्लोर पे रखी हुई है. उसमें बहुत सारे सामान हैं और इट इज़ वेरी हैवी. द वेट ऑफ द बॉक्स इज़ वेरी मच, right? And now you want to lift it up. अब आपको उसे उठाना है. So you need very much of force to lift it up. You have to lift it up by using much of the force. Why does it happen? Why you need much force then lifting it up? Now why does you need much force to lift it up? This happens because the more tightly the irregularities on the surfaces in contact are interlocked. If जो भी हमारी ऑब्जेक्ट है इसकी वेट ज़्यादा है तो वो बहुत ज़्यादा इंटरलॉक हो जाएंगे, उसकी जो इरेगुलरिटीज़ है बहुत टाइटली इंटरलॉक हो जाएंगे हमारे सर्फेसिस में। अब एक हमारी जो खाली बॉक्स है बिल्कुल एम्प्टी है, उस बॉक्स में कोई भी सामान नहीं है, अब वो हमारे एक सरफेस पे रखी हुई है, सेम सरफेस। सो उसे हम लिफ्ट करेंगे तो हमारी तुरंत उठ जाएंगे, ज़्यादा फोर्स की ज़रूरत नहीं है। So now, why does this happen? This happens because the irregularities are not tightly interlocked as compared to the heavier box. Heavier box की जो irregularities थी वो बहुत ज़्यादा tightly interlocked थे, लेकिन हमारे जो lighter box की irregularities है वो ज़्यादा tightly interlocked एक दूसरे से नहीं है. So now, therefore, a heavier box will experience greater friction than a lighter box when both are moved on the same surface. What do we mean by this? We mean that जो हमारी हेवियर बॉक्स है, एज हमारी जो हेवियर ऑब्जेक्ट जो बॉक्स थी हमने देखा, उसके पास ज़्यादा फ्रिक्शन होगी. दे विल एक्सपीरियंस ग्रेटर फ्रिक्शन दैन अ लाइटर ऑब्जेक्ट, दैन लाइटर बॉक्स. सो अ हेवियर बॉक्स, एज वी कैन सी, इट वाज हैविंग ग्रेटर फ्रिक्शन, एक्सपीरियंस ग्रेटर फ्रिक्शन. और जो हमारी लाइटर बॉक्स थी, इट वाज नॉट हैविंग ग्रेटर फ्रिक्शन, राइट? So when I told you they have to be in the same surface, if we'll keep in different surfaces, it will not match. Some will have greater friction, some will have lighter friction. So you have to move it on a same surface. So from here, from this factor, what do we understand is a heavier object will experience greater friction, but a lighter one will not experience greater friction. So I hope you have understand friction very well. What is friction? The two factors affecting friction. The number one was the nature of the surface on contact. What do we understand from this? What do we conclude from that whole factor is the rougher surface. जो हमारी rough surface थी, it will experience greater friction. उसके पास greater friction होंगे as compared to the smoother one. Smoother वाली जो हमारी surface थी, it will have less friction as compared to the rougher one. And now it comes the second factor is the weight of the object moving on the surface. Now, if the object has greater weight, it will experience more friction, but an object will have lighter weight, it will experience less friction. So this was my whole concept of friction. So friends, thank you for watching my video till the end. We will meet soon with an helpful, knowledgeable and interesting topic again. So before going, please do not forget to subscribe, like and share it, and take good care of your health. Keep learning. Thank you.